leadership at certain positions. And then as we transition to the draft with 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, really looking forward to this week, getting to really dive into that college pool. It's an opportunity for me to really meet and see some of these guys and put my eyes on them for the first time in person. A part of the process I've really enjoyed. So excited about this week at the Combine, getting to work with the staff, meeting these players, and going to this offseason to add some players that are going to help the Jets. With that, I'll open it to questions.
Optimistic that you can get something done with Reese before free agency, and if not, are the tags possibly an option?
Yeah, the tags are an option. Ideally, we'd find a way to get a deal done and keep Reese around. I think I've said that for the last year since I've got here. Reese is a good player. Want to find a way to keep him around. We've been going through that process and are still doing so. And, we have a week to find out, if we can't get to an agreement, which way we'll go with that tag. Yeah, we'll find a way to keep Reese here if we can't get a deal done.
Do you get the sense that he wants to be here long term?
I do get the sense that Reese wants to be here. We've had good conversations throughout the season, after the season, so just finding a way to do that.
What did you think of Aaron was talking about how he missed play calling, as someone who's been around him obviously last year, did you get that sense that he was spending time with that and wanted to get back in?
I did get that sense. Spending the whole season, obviously we work closely together. We have conversations daily about the roster and all things regarding the team. And as we went through this past season, there were several moments where I could see, specifically when we made the decision to move on from Steve Wilkes and me having some conversations with AG and watching him really work and be back more involved in the defense, seeing his passion. I had a feeling that we might get to this spot where he wants to call plays, but we're always going to respect the process, go through it. But with every interview and the more conversations we had, I felt that this was coming, and excited for AG and excited for the staff.
What's the status of Justin Fields?
Yeah, Justin's on the roster, and just like every other position, we're going to evaluate the quarterback position through every landscape, whether that's trade, on the street, free agency, to see what we can add to the team. But Justin's under contract, Laddie's under contract. We have no, trigger date with Justin's contract, so he's part of the Jets.
Is there a thought on where you're going at guard when watching Tucker, John Simpson? Is there a preference of people want one to keep?
Yeah, we're working through that process. We'll evaluate. We'll stay in contact with those guys, monitor them throughout the free agency process, and just go through the free agency process and see where that lands.
I think we learned from Justin last year, Darren, is that he wants an opportunity.
Yep.
You do have the ability to hold him as long as you want. Whatever. Is there any part there where it's like, well, if he doesn't factor into the starting plans here, let him go, then we'll find out?
We're having discussions about the quarterback position every day. I was actually talking to Frank this morning, and it's myself, AG, Frank, Billy, and just discussion all the different options and the opportunities we may or may not have. But for the time being, Justin's in all of those conversations, so we'll see where that goes as we go through the process. Yeah, I do. I do feel like there's some good options out there.
Do you feel it needs to be a fit with Frank Reich's experience? He's worked with a lot of taller, bigger quarterbacks. Do you feel there needs to be sort of that tie-in onto guys in free agency?
I think that's a good question, and I think that conversation of fit is definitely important with the quarterback position, really with every position, but specifically the quarterback position. The fit with the team, the current situation, the fit with the play caller is important. So we look at all those things and we have those discussions.
Does that deter you at all from just like, all right, now maybe let's go to the draft right here, or is it, no, if that one didn't work, that doesn't mean we're not going to do it again?
Yeah, exactly. If that didn't work, that doesn't mean we won't do it again. We'll always, we're learning throughout these processes, and again, the dialogue and the conversations are ongoing. Yeah, I think that's a good question. Obviously, everyone's always looking for their long-term franchise quarterback, and we'll continue to do that. And I think there's some good options in this draft, and I look forward to going through that process of this draft. It starts this week through the spring, and I'm really looking forward to doing it with a Frank Wright and a Billy Musgrave. And we've already had some conversations of what that might look like in the spring as we evaluate these guys. Yeah, it's a good question. We talk to a lot of people during the draft process about all the prospects, specifically quarterbacks. We do often talk to those private quarterback coaches, those gurus. A lot of them have worked with a lot of different quarterbacks, so they have good context to kind of compare the guys. But it is part of the evaluation process.
Aaron, I was on defense last year. You guys reinforced many turnovers and interceptions. That might be an obvious question, but like, how much of a priority is it going to be to get like ball hawks and guys that can force those?
It is. It's something we always look at. Whether it's free agency, the draft, we're always looking at certain specific production at certain positions, right? Within the secondary guys, ball production guys, are they getting their hands on the balls? Are they getting PBUs? Are they creating turnovers? Are they creating interceptions? Are they punching balls out? It's absolutely something we look at, and it's in an emphasis all the time.
How do you balance that request about having guys who are ball off, trying to make plays in the secondary with like some of the defensive linemen where they get pressure on the quarterback, they can force mistakes? How do you balance that process?
Yeah, I think those are good studies to look at. How are these turnovers happening? Is it because the quarterback's getting pressured, causing errant throws? Some of these guys' ball production, or are they punching it out? All those things we look at and how it all works together. It's a very important piece of the puzzle.
You know the Raiders GM pretty well.
I do.
You call before the draft to see if you can move up a spot when they call.
I talk to SpyTech and those guys often, as I do with other teams. Talk about moving up, moving back. Absolutely, we'll talk about all those things. But I don't think that's happening. You could ask SpyTech though.
You made a couple of big moves at the trade deadline. You did move Reese despite everything. You're saying now he's not going anywhere. We're tagging him. What is it about him that those people he's such a special part of this team?
He's a playmaker. He's a playmaker, and we want to keep playmakers around on both sides of the ball. But he's a proven playmaker and a good player, good person. So I want to find a way to keep Reese around.
Darren, how do you balance the fact that you said previously, hey, the record's got to be a lot better. You guys have to be competitive right away. Versus you also have the 3 firsts in 2027, so you have the long-term vision. So how do you balance trying to be a lot better the upcoming season, also knowing that you have these purchases?
Yeah, we want to compete and be better, and we're going to be better next year. And having 3-1s gives us a lot of flexibility in the future. So I'm excited about the 3-1s at 27, but really excited about the draft capital we have this year too.
You guys have a fifth-year option decision on Will coming up.
Yeah.
Where are you at with that?
We got time to make that decision, but feel really good about Will and that being a possibility.
Last one here. There's a lot of talk with the draft position tonight.
Yep.
Are there positions that you actually rule out and don't take the draft or give the table?
Personally, no. I think you got to leave everything on the table. Anything's possible, especially at this point in the draft. But those are discussions we'll have in depth, looking at all different studies. But at the end of the day, we got to, add good players, and there's so many variables that go into that. But I understand the question.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.